Hi everyone, in today's video I've got a different kind of video for you. This is a budget calculation spreadsheet. So about 7 years ago I did a video on my YouTube channel where I showed how to create a monthly spreadsheet using Apple Mac numbers, and that video was really popular and I still get views on it today. But in that particular video I basically made a budget for a month and then I created separate spreadsheet pages for each individual month. But the budget that I use has evolved over the last 7 years, and I have been rearranging my budget recently, and now I have a budget where I can see all my incomings and outgoings and any savings that I want to achieve all across a spreadsheet on a 12-month view. So this budget sheet is going to be available on my Apple Lover 53 website, and I will put a link to it directly under this video for you. What I've done basically, I've created this budget sheet in Google Sheets and I've downloaded it as a .xlsx document, and it's going to be a zip document. So basically if you choose to download it, you'll unzip it or extract it, depending on which operating system or type of computer you use. I think on Windows you extract, and on a Mac you basically double click and that unzips it and then opens it for you. It's so simple on a Mac. Thought I'd show it you in Google Sheets because I think most people, whether you use a Windows or a Mac, can access Google. But like I say, you can either open it in Google Sheets, you can open it in Microsoft Excel, and if you use a Mac, you can open it in Apple Numbers. If you use a Mac or a Windows and you don't have any spreadsheet software, you can just open it in Google Sheets. So I'm on Google here, and the way to find the Google Sheets is you go to these 9 little dots in the top of your screen. You select that and you'll get all this extra stuff that Google offers you. And if you scroll down, you'll see Sheets. Now I've downloaded the .xls document, which is here, but I'm not going to open my master copy. I'm going to bring in or import the downloaded file to show you how you would do it. So I'm just going to come and choose blank spreadsheet. This will open by default, and you'll have this little blue box in cell 1A already highlighted. That's how it comes in. So if you go to File and Import and then go to Upload and Browse and find where you saved your file. Now mine's in my Downloads folder. There it is, and I'm going to upload it. And it's going to start to upload, and then it's going to show you the name, annualbudget.xlsx. And this, I think, comes up by default, replace spreadsheet. So basically what it's going to do, it's going to bring in my spreadsheet and place it in this one that we opened on the screen. So I'm just going to click import data. You'll now see that it's changed. Now, because I've got checkboxes in this spreadsheet, as far as I'm aware, there's no way to stop this from happening. It will come in as false in the box. So basically what you need to do, you need to click the letter at the top of the spreadsheet. So in this instance, this is column D. Hold your Control or your Command key down on your keyboard, again, depending on whether you use Windows or a Mac, and then just choose every other column. So the small narrow columns, the columns that should be the check boxes that are showing as false. Select all of those, go to Insert and Checkbox. If you're on Apple, I'll show you how to do that in a minute. So this is your spreadsheet. So I'm just going to click up here in column A, row 2. And as you can see, it's got due date and then it's got all the months with a total at the end. So everything else should open perfectly okay. It's just those check boxes you've got to bring back. I've given you 8 rows here to add in various amounts of income. And I've given you lots of rows under expenses, and then I've given you some rows for savings pots, and then down here will be what's left once you've entered all this information in. And because it's got a checkbox, you can tick it off as you go along. I save my document in Apple iCloud, and that way it's accessible on my phone, it's accessible if I'm using, say, my iPad of an evening, and it's accessible on my computer. So no matter where I am, if I look at my bank account, I have the mobile banking app on my phone. So each day I can click on my banking app, I can see what's gone out, and then I can come into this spreadsheet no matter where I am, whether I'm on my phone, like I say, or my iPad or my computer, and I can tick it off or check it off. So I'm just going to kind of roughly show you how it works. Under income here, you can, if you've got various forms of income coming into your account every month, you can, name them here, or you can simply just put your name or your partner's name or your husband's name, or, if you get income from another format, you can put it all in here. It's entirely up to you. If you only get one income a month, then, you just use the first row and that's it. You don't even have to put the date in if you don't want. But if you've got various forms of income coming in, sometimes it's handy to put the dates in. I definitely put the dates in for my expenses, because then I tend to look at this each day one way or another, as I say, whether I look at it on my phone or maybe whether I'm looking at it on my iPad at night, or during the day if I'm home, I'll bring it up on my computer and I'll look at it. Obviously, the first thing you've got to know is you've got to write down all your forms of income that you get each month, and also then you need to go through all your expenses. The reason that I have decided to do this is because I was looking at my expenses at the start of the year, and I went onto my mobile banking app, and in my banking app, you can look at direct debits and standing orders. And I found that there was a direct debit in there that I was still paying, or due to be paying, each month. But it was for something that I don't use anymore. So straight away I cancelled that. So it's a good way to either, if you keep paper statements, get all your statements together and go through and look what goes out every month. Or, as I say, if you do it all online, which most people do these days, just go online or go into your banking app and have a look. So I'm just going to put some fictitious information. So let's just say here, I'm going to say Jane on the 22nd of the month gets £750 and enter. Again, these check boxes are great because on the 22nd you can check your bank account, you can make sure this money's gone in, and then you can check it. It's just an extra kind of visual aid. You don't have to. You can delete these checkbox columns if you want. I personally find them very helpful, especially on the expenses. Now, if Jane gets £750 on the 22nd of every single month, you can basically highlight that box and do Control or Command C to copy, and then you can paste it into every month all the way along, and you'll see that it gives you a running total at the end. So this is also a good way of looking at how much you're actually paying for things every year, and it helps you to see whether you can shave some money off somewhere, get rid of something to give you some more disposable money, down here. This one at the bottom here is what I'm saving, is after you've put everything in this income and in this expenses, it will show you what's left, and then you can choose to allocate some of that money to savings pots, or maybe put it away some other way, maybe in an ISA, or I don't know, whatever you want to do with it. But this will, it helps me. As I say, I've been budgeting since I did that budget video back in 2018, and although my budget has, the look of it has changed over the years, this one I find better for me, seeing it all in one go. but again, it's entirely up to you. I will try to remember to put a link to that other budget video at the end of this video, but that was specifically for Apple Mac users using numbers. And if you prefer to have a sheet that just covers every individual month, then that one may help as well. So let's just say David has some income that comes in on the 6th of the month, and his is £1,000. And you may have a little side hustle of some description, and you might get paid for that on the 28th of the month, and that might vary each month. So in January you might get £50, you might not get anything in February, but in March you might get 100, and you can see it's adjusting all the totals here at the end for you and at the bottom of each column, so it's showing you what's coming in January. As I say, I do this, I just look at this month by month, but anything for my personal budget, anything I know that comes in as income that's the same every month, I go through and I put the amount in every single month. Okay, then expenses. So in here you can put anything you want, anything that is an expense that you're going to pay out, whether that's fixed, so that's the same every month, or whether some months it goes out, some months it doesn't. So for instance, something that I can think of readily off the top of my head in the UK is the TV license. So you can pay it annually. I think you can pay it monthly, and I'm not sure about quarterly. Something else, for example, maybe say you're on a water meter and you pay that monthly, then if it's the same amount that's going out of your bank every month, you would put that in here the day it's due and put the same figure all the way through. So let's start with water just as an example. So we'll type water, we'll say that it's going to go out on the 10th of the month, and let's say it's £43 a month. So I'm going to highlight that. I'm going to use Command C or Control C to copy and paste. Then I'm going to select the next month and paste it. I'm using Command V. You would use Control V if you're on Windows. And I'm just going to put that through every single month. I'm not dragging it across because it will put the figure in these check boxes. It'll mess these check boxes up. So I'm just selecting each of where it says 0 and I'm pasting it into that box all the time. I find this, if you do this at the beginning of the year and you go through and you spend maybe an hour putting everything in that is fixed every month, it just saves time. It's all there ready for you. So we'll say water. Let's say we've got a mortgage or rent. If you pay that, I'm lucky on my property, I'm mortgage and rent free, so I don't have to put that in, but I know a lot of people do. So let's say that goes out on the 26th of the month, and I have absolutely no idea what people pay. I know people can pay an awful lot, but for this particular exercise, because we've not got a lot coming in here, I'm going to say 400. And again, if that was the same every month, you'd do exactly the same. You'd copy and paste. You might have car insurance and house insurance. So I'm going to do car insurance and I'm going to do house insurance. I'm just going to put some, things in here at the moment that I'm just thinking of off the top of my head. You may have a pet and you might pay for some kind of pet insurance or pet club or something like that. So let's say pet insurance. You might have gas or electric. You might want to make this gas. Like me personally, my house is all electric, so I just have electric. But, whatever you put in your things, I'm just kind of trying to think off the top of my head. Let's put TV license, because I think that's paid quarterly in the UK. So I'll just put those in for now. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to put some dates in, some fictitious dates and some fictitious amounts. So let's put the 4th for that, let's say the 6th for that, let's say the 20th for that, let's say the 26th for that. Don't have any gas, so I'm going to leave that. And TV license, let's say the 28th. So car insurance, you might pay £20 a month. So again, I'm just going to copy and paste that across in a minute. House insurance, let's say that's 20. You might pay £10 for your pet insurance. You might put £200 a month away, I don't know, for your electric. And your TV license, let's say 50. I have no idea. I can't remember what mine is. But again, that I think is paid quarterly. So let's say you pay it in January. It wouldn't be due until April. So I'm going to copy that and then I'm going to paste it in April. Then it would be due in July, and then it would be due in October, would be back to January, so that would be in your next year's budget. Okay, so I'm just going to put some amounts in here now quickly. I'll speed this bit up and then I'll come back. Okay, so I think that's enough for now. Now what I want to do, I'm going to click up here where it says Jane, and I'm going to highlight from cell 2 to 9 right across. And then I'm going to come up to data, come to sort, and I'm going to come to advanced range sorting options. And I want to organize all this in date order. So that's column B. So I'm going to say column B and sort. And now that's put those in date order. And I'm going to do exactly the same for expenses. So I'm going to start on row 13, I'm going to drag down to row 40, data, sort range, advanced, column B, sort. And again, you can do this in Excel and in Apple numbers. I'll show you how to do it in a minute. So I've put in some, I'm going to just copy these over as well for now. So I'm going to put that in there, there, and there. So for now, I've just got January through to April, okay? And if you want to adjust the column width so that you can see them better, just hover over the line and drag it out. So you'll see that on the 6th, the 22nd and the 28th, money comes in. This is how much it is each month. I've just put the same in, as I say, from January through to April at the moment. And it's showing you the amounts here. This one I've left as a 0 here, and then I've put 100 here, so you can see the differences. Okay, then the expenses are now sorted in date order, and this is how I keep on track. If I sort them in date order, when I look at this each day, I can see what's due to go out, if anything, on the day I'm looking. And if like say I'm looking on the 5th, I can see that the 4th should have gone out, and if it's gone out of my account, I can tick it. And if I'm looking on the 5th, I know that on the 6th something is due to go out, and this is how I keep on track. So again, I would go along and I would tick that that's come in on the 6th, and I would tick that they've gone out on the 4th and the 6th. And then if you scroll down to the bottom, this figure here basically is the total of your income minus the total of your expenses and the total of anything in your savings pots, and this is what's left. So as you can see, I've got nothing here in the savings pots, but if this was what I had coming in January and I only had this going out, I would be left with this amount of money. And this is how I can work out how to save. Now I don't know if all banks do it, but if you have a bank account with somebody like Monzo, you can go into your Monzo account and you can select and set up what they call pots, savings pots, and you can give them names. It has little icons that you can put next to it. So let's say, for instance, you want to save for a holiday for the end of the year or for next year. So you can see here that in January you would have, this £1,057 disposable income left after you've paid your bills. Obviously, I know a lot of people will have nowhere near that. But this is just an example. So in this savings, under savings pots here, let's put holiday, and I'm just going to tab across. Now, you don't need to put a date if you don't want for your savings pots. It's entirely up to you. But again, what I do, I check them off as I've put the money into the pot in my bank. So let's tab across. So let's say you're going on a big holiday next year and you want to save as much as you can possibly afford. You might want to put £200 in that pot, and then you might want to do that again every month. So, you know, in February, when you get your income coming in, you can see how much disposable income you've got, and you could put, say, £200 in February. Let's say saving for a new car. So I'm going to put car, and again, I'm going to put £200. Might want to be getting in advance for Christmas. So what you could do again is, say, if you start this in January, you can kind of work out how much money you think you're going to need to spend at Christmas. You know, now that can be presents and food and anything else that you do, or it can be you just putting money away for presents. It's entirely to you. You work out what you need and then you work out your budget accordingly. So let's say Christmas, we're going to put £100 away every month. Again, you might want to save money for birthdays, depending on how many people you have to buy birthday presents for. You know, this could be a small amount every month, it could be a big amount every month. I'm going to say 50. So again, I'm just going to copy over these values throughout the year, because if you're on a fixed income and you've taken all your expenses out, you will probably be able to work out if you can put this money away each month. And if you can't, you just, you know, you make that particular month 0 for holiday or 0 for birthday. So I'm just going to copy, paste it across, and I'm going to do that the same for the others I've put in. Okay, so that's what I've done so far. So you can see that I've still got, in theory, if this was my January and February, March and April budget, let's say, you can still see I've got this amount of money left over. And then again, you can choose what you want to do with that. You might think, well, you know, this particular month, more money left over. And the reason that it's higher is because I've not carried the electric over. But again, you know, you put your figures in before you start looking at if you've got any money left to do your pots. I'm just trying to show you how it works. But basically, if you started this in January and you put £200 a month away every month towards your holiday in a pot, by the end of the year, let's just make that a bit wider, you'd have £2,400. The same with the car. If you could afford to put £200 a month away for a year, by the end of December, you'd have £2,400 to go towards a car. Again, you can save for things like your car insurance. So here we're saying it's monthly and it's costing us £240. But what you might want to do is make a pot for car insurance. And at the moment, you can see we've allocated £20 a month for the year. What you could do is you could say £30 a month across the year, and then you've got your money left all in that pot at the end of the year. So once you've finished paying off, you know, your direct debits and you get your new annual insurance, sometimes it's cheaper to pay for things in one go rather than spreading it monthly, because they'll charge you an interest fee. So if you've got spare money down here that you can see, you might want to say car insurance, put £30 in there every month to give you, you know, what's left here. And then you can, next year, you can take out this expense here and pay it all in one go, and that's £20 a month extra you'll have in your expenses, which you can then use, you know, to put into another pot. So does that kind of make sense? And it's a good way of showing you what things cost. Like I say, if your house insurance, you're paying £20 a month. I know I've rounded these all up, you know, but you'd put in the exact amount. You know, when you're paying it each month, you kind of forget what the actual annual cost of something is. When you get to the end of the year, you can see, well, actually, that house insurance cost me £240 a year. Can I get it any cheaper? And you can start looking around to see if you can find something cheaper. Then when you do your budget next January, you can adjust this figure accordingly. Or again, you could make another pot down here for house insurance and put some money away, so that when you get to next January, say 2026, this is January 2025, by the way, I should have said that at the beginning. So when you get to 2026, you've got this lump sum in your savings pots in your bank that you're not touching, and then you can pay for these things annually and maybe save a bit of money. So that's kind of how it works. If you've not got if you've got a lot of expenses and you've not got enough rows, if you just select one of these rows, don't choose the total row and then choose add row above, because it doesn't necessarily work. Choose one of the random rows by clicking on the number on the left hand side, right click and say insert row above. You can see it's added that row in now, but when you click on total, that total includes that row you've added in. You can see it goes from C13 to C41. If you do it by using the total, it doesn't add it in, it messes it up. So I'm just going to go edit undo to take that out for now. And it's the same with the pots. If you've got more things you're saving for, click a random row and click add row above. And the same with your income. If you get paid weekly, say there's two of you in your family and you both get paid every 4 weeks or weekly, you might need more rows here. Select one of the rows that's not the total row and then right click on it and choose insert row above, and do that for the amount of times you need the extra rows. And then just save this. If you use iCloud or some cloud storage, save it there so you've got access to it all the time, or download it and save it on your computer. And then when you're looking at your bank account on your phone and you can see that certain things have gone out, you can then just call this spreadsheet up and go in and check off what's come in and what's been paid. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to open the same document but in Apple Numbers and just show you how to change the checkboxes in there. So I've got the spreadsheet saved in my downloads folder. I'm just going to drag it out onto my desktop. So as I say, it's saved as a .xlsx document. You just unzip it and either open it in Excel or, as I've showed you here, Google Sheets. If you want to open it in Numbers, if you left double click on it and you have Apple Mac Numbers installed on your phone or your computer or wherever you're going to look at it, it will open in a Numbers document. So here it is, a bit better for you to see. Just cancel that. Again, I'm going to click on the letter above the checkboxes. I'm going to hold the Command key down because I'm using a Mac, and I'm just going to click every other column, which is the column that you can see starting to say false. Just going to select all of those. With them all selected, I'm going to go to Cell. Where it says Data Format, Automatic will be checked by default. Come down and make it checkboxes. So again, you've now got your check boxes that you can check. Everything else is the same. You might have an extra row here. If you select the row and right click and say delete row, that will just get rid of that, just to keep it neat and tidy. So again, you can start to put your income and your dates and your things in. And again, if you're sorting, I'll just put some random dates in here. So let's just do 5. Let's make that 25. Let's do 20, 10, 6. Again, I'm going to select from column A, row 2, drag across. So all this is selected. If you come to organize, sort, I want to sort by column B, which is the date. I'm going to click on the little arrow here and say sort selected rows, and I'm going to say by column B. Then this sort now should light up, and I'm going to select sort now, and it puts it in date order. For some reason this is kind of out of sync. It should all be centralized. So I'm going to go to format, I'm going to go to text, and I'm going to say align it all in the middle. So this is now all in date order, and you would do the same with your expenses. I would, put what the expenses and the date, go through all that first, or at least put the expense, the date, and the payment if it's a regular payment. And then once you've got everything in, just fill in the amounts, against each month, and then again select, all your rows in that section and go to organize and sort, and it'll probably remember it that you're sorting it by column B for you. So that's how to do it on Apple Numbers. So I hope that is helpful. Please leave me any questions or comments directly underneath this video, and if I can be of any help, I'll try and help you. It definitely helps me stay on track. One thing you can also do on a Mac with your document, once you've got it opened, if you go to File, you can save it as a template, and then you can say add it to your template chooser, and it will put it in your template chooser, and that way you've got your blank template every year to come back to. So that's today's video, and I hope it was helpful. Please give the video a thumbs up, don't forget to subscribe, and hopefully I'll be back soon with a crafting video. Take care for now. Bye.